It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
We are live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Carl Coulange, your host, by the fans and for the fans. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'd like to introduce my contributors here. We're going to start off with the NFL. Mr. Box Office, sir, how you doing, man?
Hold on, sir. Happy Wednesday out here. Ready to talk some football.
We have, is his name still the A-lister? Is that what we're going with for the week? How you doing, sir?
Gave it 7 days. It might change on Sunday.
And Rockland County's favorite son, Mr. Ricardo Etienne, man, I'm loving your camera view. I see the lighting. My man's production skills are becoming A-list worthy.
Hey, man, I gotta just keep trying to shine and keep up with the A-listers, man. That's all. I don't want to get cut like some folks. So,
So, gentlemen, Sunday we led off talking about COVID in the NFL. Wednesday we're leading off talking about COVID in the NFL. More positive tests coming out of the Titans. We have some also coming out of New England. And then I get news from Ricardo's team and stadium that their governor has opened full capacity. Doesn't mean that the team's actually going to do it, but he's given them that option. So this is why I wanted to, Rick, I'm bringing you to the front of the congregation where I'm a little bit confused, where you have the NFL having a COVID outbreak, but then the governor is saying that the NFL team could have full capacity. And again, I know it's not Roger Goodell. It's not his call on a certain state, but isn't that kind of conflicting where, a team could have a full capacity if they wanted to, and they're at, I believe you told me 13,000, they could have fans, but then now you're having positive COVID tests in the NFL. How does that even work?
I think, again, at the end of the day, whatever is governed by, the legislation of the state can't be controlled by, us, the fans, or owners, or an organization, or for that matter, a restaurant owner, a bar owner, a retail shop owner. I think these types of legislations and these things that the governor's putting out there is just an effort to kind of continue to move forward towards whatever normal is or is going to be. It's lifting the restrictions and letting folks know that, hey, look, you have the option now to make a decision to, open up your individual businesses or organizations or whatever the case may be. So, we're going on about, I think, 2 weeks now since here in Florida, we've kind of pretty much gone to our phase 3 where, we're just about fully open, like the capacity limits in bars and restaurants and retail shops, as I mentioned before, have been lifted. But, I work in the industry, in the retail industry, right here in the tourist heart of Orlando. And one thing I can tell you, in these past 2 weeks, you still have many of these businesses that are not changing any of their policies. They're still maintaining their own caps on capacity. They're still maintaining their own COVID guidelines per their business, regardless of what the legislation says. So I think, of course, Florida gets a bad rap for good reason. There'd be a lot of shenanigans going on down here. I can't discount that. But a lot of times there's a lot of headlines that are kind of misleading too. So I think the biggest focus is to know that, they're saying you can do it. It doesn't mean everybody's going to do it. I reached out to my ticket rep. I'm a season ticket holder for the Miami Dolphins. I reached out to my ticket rep just to get an idea of, what this news looks like. He told me as far as it goes right now, there is no plan to open up beyond that 13 to 15,000 fan mark that they're shooting for currently for the season. So who knows if that changes now or when that changes. But again, as of right now, the team isn't necessarily going to say, hey, it's a free for all. Everybody come on in. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Box Office, what are your thoughts? Up north is a little bit different, where we're not seeing so much of flexibility in terms for fans to come back and even just dealing with the COVID. What can the NFL do? I was watching First Take earlier, and there was suggestion maybe having a bubble within the cities as opposed to having a central bubble like the NBA. Maybe each city has a location where they keep their players on their facilities just to keep eye on them, just to kind of prevent this from happening in other places. What are your thoughts?
I think, again, that's a very difficult task for the NFL. NBA players, you could tell me, Carl, what are there, 12 to 15 players? On a single franchise, how many people, 30 to 50 maybe on an NBA franchise? NFL, that's that's players alone. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? 50 or 55 players. So now you got to include training staff, medical staff, coaching staff, front office. I just don't see how they can do that. I have heard rumors that they want to look into a bubble for the playoff situation. I think that would be their best bet. I think as far as what the NFL should do, they should just extend the season. I think they should kind of have gaps, like say towards the end of August. Let's take 2 weeks off, get whatever makeup games we need to get in there, and then towards the around week 16, take another 2 weeks off and get whatever makeup games they need to get into there, and then go into week 17 and then start the playoffs. Because I think we're gonna have some more games get canceled. I think to see the Patriots, it was weird because the rumors about the Titans having the outbreak in there and how they might not have been following protocol, it was actually to their advantage because their game got canceled and moved. Whereas the Patriots, they had to lose their starting quarterback and had to go out there and fly to Kansas City on the same day. So they're gonna struggle with the competitive balance of things. So I mean, it's interesting to see where the NFL is gonna go with this because, like I said, Sunday to think we weren't gonna have cases was naive. So they just got to see how they handle them.
A-lister, real quick, what are your thoughts here with the COVID outbreak and even just seeing how some cities now are opening up to having more fans?
My biggest question mark, so we've seen dozens of NFL players opt out before training camp even began. So when you see the defensive player of the year like Stephon Gilmore get COVID, you see, a face of a franchise and a Cam Newton get COVID. What does it then begin to say for a lot of these veteran guys that are a little bit up there in age by NFL standards, who aren't playing for the money, who aren't playing necessarily on competitive football teams? What does it mean for them today as opposed to what they were 50-50 on in August? So that's what I kind of got my eye on. That's where my button is being pressed because I think you might see a bigger list of opt-outs as this thing continues to I don't want to say spiral out of control because the percentages are still very, very low. But that is a concern. And I think in regards to Travis's answer, and if there's a bubble I think is possible even with the 100 of people on the staff, just simply because tourism in every single one of these cities is completely shot down, right? Florida may be actually the only place where people can still go. Disney's numbers are still, I'm sure, booming. I know the wait lists aren't as long for the rides, but I'd like to think if I was in Nashville, Tennessee, if the Titans rented out an entire Holiday Inn, they could, right? Obviously, their standards are a lot higher than that, but it could easily be a Hilton. And they can do an NBA-like bubble situation where it is controlled. And I think it is those desperate times call for desperate measures moments.
All right, guys, before I move on, I just wanted to throw a quick congratulations out to the WNBA Seattle Storm for winning another WNBA championship last night, 92-59.
Dominated too.
Yeah, I believe Sue Bird won her fourth WNBA championship, so kudos to them. Let me give you guys an update on our standings for predictions, and you guys should know what they are based upon if you did your calculations correct. Let me do a little screenshot here. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen? Here we go.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we have Rick is still in first place with 30 points. Second place, Travis with 27, Ray with 26, and fourth place, MVP. I think you wet the bed last weekend, man. 23 points, fourth place, brother. So you're going to have to change those sheets. You wet the bed, you change those sheets, brother. I don't know, man. Those numbers are looking good.
I'm coming for you, sir. I'm coming.
So these are the standings we got right here. And I believe against Coach Womack. Womack won last week, and he's actually in the lead for the last 2 weeks. Travis and Coach have been going at it. Womack's leading by 1 point. So he has 19.
Okay.
He won week 4, 10, and Travis, you had 7 last week. So those are our predictions.
Only thing I'm gonna say about wetting the bed with the standings. I'm glad it was my picks and not my daughter wetting the bed. It's all good, man. I got 12 weeks to get it together.
In the grand scheme of things, right?
12 weeks.
I noticed in the chat. After the Cowboys lost, there was a big discussion. Ray's not here to basically defend himself. I don't know what was going on, but I kind of saw them going back and forth about it. Travis, you want to elaborate? Was that the biggest takeaway from week 4, having the Cowboys lose to the Browns?
I mean, it wasn't the biggest takeaway, but the debate between Ray and I is what constitutes as garbage stats. I mean, I don't want to speak for Ray, but on my side, I believe if you're still in the contention to win the game, it's not garbage stats. You're just trying to win the game. The game plan was adjusted, so therefore you probably had to pass more to try and win the game. Now, if the game's completely unwinnable, whatever you do after that point, then yes, it's considered garbage time stats. But to sit here and say the Cowboy, all Dak does is put up garbage time stats, I find to be a little ridiculous, because if there's still an ability to win the game, they're just trying to win the game because that's what you do.
Mm-hmm. So, Rick, what were your takeaways from week 4? Were you anything special or your biggest point or takeaway that stands out of week 4?
So one thing I'll say before my takeaways is kind of piggyback off of what Chap's message. Like, I understand that, and it's not to say necessarily all of Dak's production is garbage time stats. Specifically in that game, you got a 2-quarter stretch where that offense was doing nothing. They weren't getting any yardage. They weren't scoring any points. You get blown out 34-0 over a stretch of 2 quarters. That game was over. Everybody is always trying to win the game. You could be down 100-0, and you're still trying to win the game. Doesn't mean you have a chance to win the game. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but that's the thing. They may as well have been down 100-0 coming out that third quarter. You know what I mean? So I think that's where Ray was going with that. To me, in my opinion, you got Dak out there shining statistically, but that team is trash, man. And kind of segueing into some of my thoughts, first and foremost, man, the NFC least. We've got to do something about this division. I mean, they're 3-12-1 combined right now. You know, just a quarter of the way into the season as a division, 3-12-1. I mean, it's miserable. We mentioned Dallas already with all that firepower they got on offense. There's no excuse for that. Eagles, another team, despite, you know, what you may say at the receiver position, talented nonetheless. No excuse for that. Washington is Washington. You've got a new regime in here now. You already see they're pulling Haskins, and he ain't even being dropped to 2. He's being dropped to 3. So as far as I'm concerned, he may as well be getting walking papers. You know what I mean? And then the Giants, you know. And then the Giants are the Giants. So
well, listen,
I mean, that division,
thank you, Rick, for my transition. I don't know if you kind of knew my segue and what I was going to go to, but Paul, guess what? Doug Peterson still has a job. So week 5, baby, he still has a job. And you're on the Doug Peterson watch. So now on my board, we have that Doug Peterson watch for Paul Lawson. Paul, you have to say that Doug Peterson is still employed.
Here's what I would say.
Bill O'Brien isn't. But go ahead.
Yes.
The reason Doug Peterson still has a job is actually not even because Doug Peterson won on Sunday Night Football. If the Cowboys actually had even thought about playing defense, we would be talking about a Cowboys team that's 3-1, possibly 4-0, with the Eagles being 3 games behind them 4 games into the season. But they are so bad that with 1 win, they are in first place in the division. How could you fire Doug Peterson? Right? It's not possible yet.
No.
Not yet.
I mean, he's not going nowhere, man.
In that division, make the playoffs. It would be unheard of in NFL history.
Any other big takeaways before we get to our game balls from week 4, Trav? Anything else that stands out to you?
I mean, like I mentioned before, Bill O'Brien, he's gone. I was actually kind of shocked at that one because I figured he would make it through the season simply because he is the coach and the GM, and he was starting to take over play calling. So that's a lot of shoes to fill right now, 4 games into the season.
Sorry to cut you off, but shout out to Manny. He just said breaking news: Lamar Jackson did not practice today due to a knee injury. So that's just an update.
Oh boy!
So I don't know what changes that is going into week 5, but Manny just said
that's
that.
dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember hearing any reports about a major injury coming out of the weekend. So the fact that he just missed practice, it might be just for precaution.
No,
you know
Trav,
what I mean?
I will say this: he did leave the game when it wasn't a blowout, and RG3 did get some action late. Most people probably took that as RG3 was coming in to get work. Backup quarterbacks don't come in the game with 2 scores, with a 2-score lead. It just doesn't happen in the NFL. So I do think
I kind of trumped it up because it was against Washington, but you might have a point there.
NFL, baby, you keep the starters out there. That's how I
No, because you remember RG3. What RG3 was with Washington, so I figured it was. They gave him a little revenge moment. But you might have a point. You might have a point there. You know what I mean? But we got to keep an eye on that because that offense is built around Lamar and RG3. He is a capable backup, a very similar backup, but he ain't no Lamar Jackson. So we got to keep an eye on that.
What's up, Rick?
I'll say another thing before we move on as far as thoughts go. I can't not give credit to the Bills. I'm pretty sure we all picked them to win the division, but I couldn't imagine that we all would have anticipated the offensive output that they're putting out so far, averaging 30 points a game, 4-0, 4 games in. I mean, Stephon Diggs transitioned over there effortlessly, looks better than he's looked in Minnesota, looks happy, which is great. And Josh Allen, while we're talking about your Russell Wilsons, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes of the world, Josh Allen is quietly out there just slinging the rock, man. So I got to give credit to the Buffalo Bills, man. They look really good on offense, no less. Their defense hasn't been dominant yet this year, and that's supposed to be the better side of the ball. So that could be a dangerous.
But I mean, going into the season, I think we did a preseason show where most of you guys predicted that the Bills would win the division. So
definitely. I think it was more by a default situation. Exactly.
Yeah, it was by default.
I think it was by default. I don't think any of us thought they'd look this good offensively.
We didn't see Josh Allen taking the leap this year. I mean, he's taking a
huge leap. Right. Huge leap.
All right, so A-list, let me start with you with your game balls, offensive and defensive players.
I'm going to switch it up this week. I'm going with 2 offensive players. I'm sorry if I'm breaking the rules, but I just have to. So
there's a love for the defense. What, didn't you play defense?
There was a lot of bad defense out there this week. All right, no standouts. Joe Mixon for the Cincinnati Bengals. He came into the week as of Sunday. He was questionable with a chest injury. 28 touches, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns, and won somebody, I think, $50 million or something crazy like that, online sports betting, because he was the best player on that guy's card. And also the 43-year-old Tampa native now, Tom Brady, 369, 5 touchdowns without, I think, his number one target in Chris Godwin. Some would say it's Mike Evans, who was also hurt. Tom Brady was down big early, and it was a legendary comeback performance against the Chargers, who is good defensively. So Tom Brady. I got Mixon and Brady.
All right. Box office, who are your game balls going out to this week?
Offensively, I'm gonna go to Odell Beckham, man. We were starting to question him out there. It didn't look like that chemistry was right, but he showed up big for them, man. He had 5 receptions for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he added 2 rushing attempts for 73 yards and another touchdown. Big game by him. Defensively, because defense wins games out here. I don't care what Paul says. I'm going to give it to Zadarius Smith of the Packers, man. 6 tackles, 2 assists, 3 sacks, and 4 tackles for losses against the sorry Atlanta.
Dan Quinn.
For some reason, now I'm really on the bandwagon of firing that man, because we already knew you couldn't play defense, but now your offense couldn't score. Yeah. What's going on?
Offense was inept, man.
Well, that was ugly.
Well, that's the definition to Carl's answer 2 questions ago. Matt Ryan's numbers is the definition of putting up numbers in garbage time. Dak Prescott's is not.
Yeah, yes. I can 100% agree with that one right there.
Okay, Rick, who are you giving your game balls out to for week 4?
All right, so y'all killed me for giving it to a guy who lost last week. So I got to say, before I even give my game ball, I got to shout out my guy Kittle, man. Came back from injury and straight balled out, and also single-handedly won me 2 leagues last week. So shout out to Kittle, but they lost.
So forget him. He killed me. Forget him.
Yeah, shout out to him, but they lost. So
I don't think I've ever seen a stat line where someone was targeted 15 times and had 15 catches.
It's crazy.
From
right off the injury.
The quarterback.
Right off an injury, no less. Let's remember the guy just came off of an injury, first game back. So I'm not going to give it to him. I had to shout him out. But in the spirit of Kittle, I'll give it to another white tight end, Robert Tonyan on Monday Night Football. Monday night, Sunday night. I can't remember what night they played, but Monday night. Boy, shout out to you. 6 receptions, 3 touchdowns, man. I think he had more touchdowns that night than he has in the previous 2 years or something like that. Awesome performance. Shout out to you. Again, on the defensive side, I know I can't give it to a losing player again, but I got to shout out my Haitians, man. Shout out to Pierre Desir. He balled out for the Jets, man. 2 picks, including a pick 6. But I'm gonna give it to the
He did
Seattle
get mossed,
Seahawks
though.
linebackers. Was that?
He did get mossed by Jerry Jeudy.
True, but you know, when you get a pick six, that kind of, you know, balances out, you know. So but yeah, I'm gonna give my game ball to the Seattle Seahawks linebackers, man. Like, I actually watched that game start to finish, being a Dolphin fan. Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright specifically were all over the field all game. So I got to give my game ball to them on defense.
Hey, Carl,
You know what? You know, I'm starting to see. Hold on, Paul.
Let me throw a game ball in there for my man Greg with the Honey Badger who picked off a pick six for a dropped screen pass. I know that's the very clever sports group, so I feel like I had to bring that to the table.
Travis, you have one more quick point?
Yeah, Rick out there, he giving shout outs to players that I'm starting to feel like Rick was that coach.
Shout out to Hayden.
Right. No, he giving out shout outs to
Hey,
players
no.
that love. Rick was that
listen.
coach. Everybody gets orange slices. Everybody
Nah.
gets trophies.
Here's the thing. Here's my look at it.
Hey, listen, Rick. Hey, listen, Rick. Are you the soccer dad? Keep it real. Are you the soccer dad?
Nah. Here's the way I look at it. First things first, when it comes to any Haitians balling out, man, you already know I'm shouting out.
100.
So
yeah.
I don't care if they lose. I don't even care if they're on the Jets. I'm shouting
that.
out my Haitians who are representing. Nah, but like specifically though, again, I understand when, you know, it's a team game. Everybody has to do their part to win. But every once in a while, even in a losing effort, there are some guys that completely stand out above the rest. And it's okay to, you know, call that out. Because even if you go to the film and, you know, after a loss, you know, when you in the game room, you ain't going to sit here and not tell Kamara he had a damn good game last week. You ain't going to sit there and not tell Kittle he had a damn good game this past week as well, just because they lost. So, you know, I get it. You know, game balls should be going to the winner. But every once in a while on the losing side, man, somebody's out there doing something spectacular, and that's okay to shout out.
All right,
that's a participation trophy back there, Rick.
That's my rating defending, man. That's my rating defending right there.
Listen. Let's not hate on the participation trophies, because some of us who are unathletic have some of those in the archives. All right, so leave the participation people alone. That's me. I'll be the first to admit it. I have a few of those.
Don't tell us that.
I gotta bring that up.
I have a few of those. All right.
I'm gonna have this sit with me. It's my rating defending, bro.
Trophies, man.
I have to admit, man, I played 1 year CYO basketball. I had like 3 points in that season, and then my dad said he put me again because I got no minutes, and that was the end of my short-lived career.
Wait. 3 points total, or you averaged 3 a game?
3 points total. I had one made field goal, off a running hook shot, and then I made one free throw, and I missed another one. That was the end of my career. That's it. Professionally. Number 42 retired at the rafters, baby. CYO basketball. Let's I'm not ashamed of my stats. It is what it is. But gentlemen, let's move on to week 5. I don't know if we should call this a rematch going into tomorrow night's matchup. We have Nick Foles versus Tom Brady. I mean, it's kind of a rematch, but they're on different teams. So what do we have here? Here's a fun fact. Tom Brady is 7-0 career on Thursday night football games, most by any quarterback. Box office, who do you have here in this game?
I'm going to go with Tampa on this one. They're coming in injured. It's on the road, but I got to believe in Tom Brady. And I didn't like the way Nick Foles looked.
Okay. A-list?
I'm going to go with Tampa.
Okay. Rick?
Yeah, man. I mentioned on Sunday, we all should have known. I knew at least. The Bears were fool's gold. We saw it on Sunday. They yanked Mitch out there. I don't understand what that was about. You got Foles in. He ain't looked that much better. On the flip side, Tom was out there looking like, you know, the Tom we know. No matter who's out there, they've got injuries on their side as well. No matter who it is out there, he's slinging it. They doing their thing. They starting to get into a groove, which we anticipated they would. I mean, this is an easy one, man. The Bucs will probably blow the Bears out.
All right, and
I'm thinking a big Gronk day. I mean, no Godwin. Evans is looking injured out there,
and we haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him shine yet. He's good.
Howard tore his Achilles, so this might be a game for a big Gronk day to make his return.
And we have coming in, the commissioner self-proclaimed said he got the Bucs too. So we're going to put that on record. He's saying the Bucs. I'll get Walmack's picks on Sunday. If you guys can join me for Sunday, I know we may have some filler in. Some people, we have Declan's on deck, I think, for Sunday, filling in for Rick. And Stay tuned, you guys. We have a special segment coming. Winner's Circle debuts live on the Sports Hit List. I don't know what that's about, but stay tuned to find out later on coming on the show. You guys, I'll see you on Sunday. Take care. Rick, man, you stay safe out there. These stadiums are cleaning up, man. I don't know, man. Wear your mask. I don't know, man. Florida's crazy.
I'm masked up, man. I'm masked up.
Right. Y'all out there trying to do your own little thing.
I know.
There,
you guys should
Trust me,
just
man. I'm masked
separate.
up.
Listen, you guys just need to separate from the United States. Just go out on your own. Become your own identity. Because Florida, we don't own y'all. Yeah. We don't own Florida at all.
Yo, don't let the media fool y'all. It ain't that bad, yo. It ain't that bad.
Bro, trust me, it is that bad. We ain't
Team 95 South, pull up.
No, thank you. I'm gonna stay right here, bro. I'm gonna stay right here in New York. I'm okay in New York. No, thank you. You be safe though. And Paul, I'll see you later for your segment. Travis, I'll see you on Sunday. You're watching the Sports Hit List by the fans.
Yep.
Let me transition into some baseball real quick. We're gonna talk some divisional series rounds. We got Chuck coming in and Declan. Declan, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm set.
You're set. What are you set for, Chuck?
Listen, I'm very upset with the game last night. Very upset.
Okay, cool. Do you care to elaborate? What are you upset about? You said that the Yankees lost. The series is tied, right?
Yeah.
So what is there to really be upset about?
About that the series is tied. I'm upset with the tomfoolery that they pulled last night. More so with
okay, so again, Chuck, you need to elaborate. Tomfoolery. What are you talking about? Just be real. Keep it 100. What are you talking about?
So first of all, they now this was a move that I saw coming, that they were going to save Tanaka for Game 3, especially if they won Game 1. So I didn't care that they started Garcia in Game 2. But to only give him that short of a leash and pull him out after one inning, I did not like. I don't think Cap was even ready to come into the game from what he's saying. That's number 2. And I'm sick of these Saber nerds ruining the game of baseball. I'm sick of analytics. The game's not played on a computer. This is not the show. This is not Madden. This isn't 2K. It's real life. We're humans. We're not cyborgs. Now, DJ LeMahieu might be a robot because he's so darn good, but we're all humans. This is the playoffs. Why are the Yankees playing these games when the games matter? They had a chance to go 2-0, put their foot on the necks of the Raves. You got Tanaka, your best postseason pitcher, going tonight. Could have had 2-0 lead with Tanaka going Game 3, and they went out there and Carl, I'm trying not to curse, but they effed it all up. That's what,
it's okay, Chuck.
Right? Now
Chuck.
listen.
Oh, he's not done. Go ahead, Chuck. Oh, Chuck is cooking, baby. Chuck is cooking. Go ahead, Chuck.
Listen, now I understand the move to a degree. Tampa platoons a lot. They're going to put a lot of lefties in the lineup because Garcia was on the mound. That I understand. Your bullpen's been shaky. You only got 3 guys in the pen that you can trust. You got Green, Britton, and Chapman. Everybody else has been terrible, especially Ottavino, right? Who's supposed to be your fourth bullpen piece, right? So I understand trying to, in a way, shorten the game. But then when you really start to think of the logistics.
I got you, Chuck. Logistics. Go ahead, bro.
I'm pissed off. So now if you lose the game, then you're going to start Garcia possibly Game 4 in a possible elimination game if they lose tonight. But now they just said that Montgomery's pitching Game 4. Well, that doesn't feel good to me in a possible elimination game. This was planned all wrong. I would have rather them stuck with Garcia for Game 2. If he loses, he loses. That's fine, because then you got Tanaka and at least a veteran in Happ going Game 4. Would I have trust Happ? Not really, but he did do well to finish the season, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I would have felt more comfortable going with Happ in that game than now Jordan Montgomery.
Okay. Are you done? Are you good? You let it all out?
I think.
Listen, if you want a little bit of overtime, I can give you some more time. We got some time, Chuck. You want some
I don't know. I'm just frustrated with it. What was that last night? I'm saying, and listen, I know Boone's going to
wasn't done.
Manager and whatnot. But it's these Saber nerds, geeks, whatever you want to call them. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these NYIT guys sitting behind a computer running simulations.
Time out. You see, you went to a great area there. Shout out to Ray Jarvis. I graduated from NYIT, okay? You're not going to sit here.
Oh, God bless you.
I got my master's from NYIT, so I have to call it what it is, okay? I'm not one of those guys.
But you aren't a Saber geek. You understand that there's a human element to the game. There's a human element. Why is Garcia on that short of a leash? He gave up one homer, and then Boone goes down and says that he labored through the inning. It's one inning in a playoff game. This kid's 20, 21 years old, starting in a playoff game for the New York Yankees. What do you think? He was just going to go out there and be all fine? No, you got to let the kid settle in. It was just bad. And now they're saying that he might even pitch tonight. Like, what is happening with this team?
Okay,
They are playing Tampa Bay Rays baseball, not New York Yankees baseball.
Okay, Declan, do you agree with everything that Chuck had to say in his excellent DBQ essay of a opening statement?
I gotta be honest. First of all, I've never seen Chuck that fired up.
Me either, never. And I've known Chuck for almost like 4 or 5 years now. I have never seen him so mad.
Never seen him that fired up. Listen, I've had 2 concussions in the past 4 years. I don't even know if I could remember all that. That's how intense and long and fiery that was. What I will say, though, is I'm going to have to agree with him wholeheartedly. The old cardinal rule in baseball is you never judge a pitcher by the first inning. And what does Davey Garcia do? He gives up 1 run on a homer. It happens. We've seen it. It happened to Glasnow in the second inning yesterday. Or I feel like it happened to Cole in game 1, unless it happened in the second inning. Struggling to remember that. But anyway, I agree with you. Good. Like, it's clearly, I said it last night on the live. It's definitely an organizational decision. But I guess Boone is deciding that he's going to take the fall for it and say, he's not settling in. I originally thought it would be fine if Montgomery starts game 4. I just think it's stupid because regardless, you're going to say you labored through the inning, and then you're going to throw him 2 days later or even tonight on not even a day rest or less than 48 hours rest. It just seems stupid to me. Boone could be a patsy for all this. It'll be easy to beat up on him. The Yankees did put up 35 runs in 4 games, which I don't know what else you really can ask from them. Pitching needs to step up, and obviously coaching and organizational decisions need to follow suit.
Okay. Well, Chuck, I don't know what else to say to you, man. After that, did you get a glass of water? Are you okay? Are you good?
Oh, I didn't. But Carl, listen.
He's going again.
Last week, the White Sox did the same thing. They threw a rookie out there to start the game. Now, listen. This was Game 3, the deciding game in their series against the A's. They threw a rookie out and pulled him in the first inning. Like, why are you having such a short leash on these guys, especially in just one inning?
Well, not just in baseball, but I think we've seen the entire, even in the NBA and some other sports, the entire era of what I like to call the metrics, the numbers, the stats, the analytics. It's relevant. And a lot of people believe that this is how you build teams now, is by using analytics instead of the natural eye test. And clearly, fans disagree. Some people agree with them. Some people don't. But the ones who are in position are the ones going by analytics. Yeah. And they believe it's a way to win.
Carl, you mind if I piggyback on you for just?
Yeah, go ahead. Please do.
So you bring up a great point with sabermetrics in sports. For baseball, I think a little of the old school, a little of the new school is fine. But I mean, what we saw in that White Sox A's game, that led to their elimination. That's the epitome of overmanaging. It's something like you never see before. 2020 has thrown a bunch of curveballs, and I don't even think they let the first pitcher throw 3 curveballs the whole game because he didn't even get to finish the inning. But in terms of all sports, we've seen it in the NBA, whether I guess load management or who you want to take the shot. But we've even seen it in football this weekend on multiple occasions with the same philosophy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the Jaguars-Bengals game, in the Lions Saints game, we saw it. Texans Vikings game, we saw it. We're seeing these teams down 14. They score, they get to 6. And I'll try to stay on topic with baseball, but we just saw the A-listers for football go on quick, so I'll make this quick. We saw the team that's down 14 gets 6 points and then goes for 2 because the metrics would prove that if they go for 2, they're going to have to go for 2 twice. If they don't get the first one, they're going to go for 2 for the tie. The metrics would prove, and statistics would prove that you want to go up to get the 2. You're more likely to get one of the 2 at some point in the game to try to either take the lead or keep it where it is. So it's sabermetrics. It is what it is. We've seen it in all sports. Hopefully it doesn't take over the game that much. A little's fine, just like everything else. Too much of a good thing's a bad thing. Too much of an okay thing is a really bad thing, in my opinion.
Okay, so just a quick score update. We are now in the top of the 8th inning. The Braves and the Marlins. The Marlins are still up 2-0. 1 out with 1 runner in 2-0 position. Yeah, they're up 2-0. We also have right now bottom of the 3rd, tied 2-2. The A's are down 0-2 against the Astros. I know that's that's pretty much brewing. The Astros can advance to the ALCS again. And then the Padres play the Dodgers tonight, and the Yankees are on deck tonight. And clearly, if they continue to mismanage this game, we'll see more of Chuck yelling and screaming on the hit list.
At a certain point, common sense triumphs analytics and sabermetrics. It's as simple as that.
Well, but you know what? Let me ask you this though. Given the fact that we know Boone is the manager, but do some decisions during games, do they come from higher ups, or does he have control of the game?
Definitely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
And I think we first got a taste of that a couple years ago with the Mets, where a report came out that while they were playing, I think in Arizona, that Brody was on the phone calling the dugout to pull guys out of the game.
You're calling Mickey Callaway.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I couldn't remember for a second.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like, that's when you finally realize that these guys are just sitting behind a computer all throughout the game, just running tests to see when to pull out certain pitchers, when to bat certain guys, where sometimes you just got to go with your gut and common sense and common knowledge of the game. Like, Boone has been around the game his whole life. His father played, his grandfather played. This guy grew up with baseball. Like, I think he knows his way around the game, and I don't know why they wouldn't trust him, like, in these situations to make a move. It's pretty upsetting.
Well, is there something? Well, given the fact that we're talking about this whole new metrics and analytics in sports, is there a way out of it? Is there a way to get back to old the eye test of watching baseball and just, like you said, just simple decisions, not leaning on the numbers?
Yeah, seeing old school teams beat new school teams, and I think a perfect example of it would have been the Patriots with Bill Belichick taking down Sean McVay and the Rams. We're just going to have to see that in all sports. I feel like, as simple and annoying as it sounds, that there's only one way to stop something is to adjust to it. And I feel like it's the same thing with the read option, how, you know, Kaepernick, RG3 took over the league for a year, and then the league's going to have to adjust these crazy decisions. Kevin Cash and the Rays went at Boone's decision or management's decision or whoever's decision last night by simply hitting the baseball and hitting it hard and hitting it well and winning the game. So you just got to combat it with either your strategy or you got to beat them at their own game.
Chuck, is there a way to change the general manager system of this new analytics, or is it something that's lost cause?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think so, because the game is so analytically driven now. Now, I understand the point of using analytics in the offseason or at the trade deadline when you're looking at players, you know, and trying to project their value in the future. And I think you see that because the most successful teams are the ones who have fantastic analytics departments. Like, I think the Yankees have like 20-something guys in their department and whatnot. But when it comes to the game itself, I think you kind of got to try to steer away from that. And I think as soon as the movie Moneyball became popular and was at its height, that's when everybody started to, you know, go to analytics. So it was people just following the media and what was thought at the time to see, wow, maybe, you know, we should follow the same path that Billy Beane took however many years ago, even though his team chokes in the playoffs every year, you know, that just follow suit in that. But I think when it comes to the actual game and you're watching the players out there, you know, you can't control what people do on the field. So I don't know why they use it for gameplay itself. I understand using it for signings if you think, you know, a player might decline over the course of a contract and whatnot, but I don't think you can use it on games because every game is different. The first game that the Yankees play this season is definitely different than the game that they played last night and they're going to play tonight. It's just different mindsets and everything, and the energy levels are completely different and the pressure and whatnot. So you don't know how people perform in certain instances. Like, there are guys who can't show up in the postseason, but they might have terrific regular seasons. And the analytics are going to tell you, you know, play him even though he struggles in the postseason. Sometimes you got to bench him. Like Gary Sanchez, he's not starting tonight. And I'm sure he probably might have good numbers against Morton, but he's been so bad, you got to sit him. That's common sense. The pitching of the Yankees does better when they're Higashioka and Kratz and the other guys are behind the plate and not Sanchez. It's just common knowledge, common sense. But I think too many teams are just involved in analytics, and it's never going to go away.
So what's your final call for tonight's game? Do the Yankees pull out the victory, or are analytics going to ruin it too for this game?
Well, here's a theory. Because they're in a bubble and everything, there's no off days for travel and whatnot. So I think analytics is definitely going to play a part because now you got to manage the bullpen for it, not only today, but possibly tomorrow and Friday, right? Yeah, Friday as well. So I think you got to give Tanaka a long leash tonight because if you lose tonight, it's all hands on deck tomorrow. And then if you win tomorrow, Friday. So I hope they don't, give a quick hook to Tanaka in the fifth and whatnot. But I think I got to take the Yankees. Tanaka is aces in the postseason. I think he's going to go out there, shut down the Rays lineup, and I think they should win the game. I think the Yankees could hit Morton around. I know he had the injury early in the year, so I'm going to take the Yankees. I'll give you a score. Let me give you 7-3.
Okay. Deck?
Wow, I love the confidence, Chuck. I hope you're right. I think you'll be right. I think it'll be a little bit closer. I think Charlie Morton hasn't pitched. He hasn't pitched since September 25th. So it should be interesting to to kind of see how he combats his injuries in the past. I honestly, now I might be wrong here. We saw Glasnow and Snell go 5 innings. Glasnow, that's about what you usually get from him. Typically the 5-inning range of stamina. Snell, you can get a little more. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie Morton goes 4 innings tonight. And that might not even be if he gets knocked around by anyone or in general. I'm not sure I see a scenario where they have him going 7 innings. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But from all the evidence that we've seen this year on the shortened season and his injuries, he doesn't go too deep into games anymore. I think he's like 31.
No, he's way past 31. He's
way
like 36. Yeah.
Okay, 36. Excuse me.
I think.
So, thanks for the CNN facts check, but not even close. Exactly. That's great. Anyway, Charlie Morton's on the older side, obviously, even older than I thought. By the way, Madison Bumgarner's only 30. He looks like he's 45. I feel like he's been around since like the dead ball era.
Don't tell that to
Charlie Morton.
Don't tell that to Greg.
He doesn't like it.
I can hear Greg saying that in my ear right now.
As far as he's concerned, the dead ball era doesn't exist. Again, I don't see Charlie Morton going too deep into a game. If I had to go, see 7-3 sounds good because the Yankees have scored 35 runs in 4 games. They had the worst offensive production of the postseason so far with 5 runs last night. I'm going to stop the ramble here, but I'm going to go 5-4. It's going to come down to Chapman in the ninth, and he'll make it interesting because he always does.
All right. Any other predictions for the games tonight? The Padres and the Dodgers. Clearly, the Dodgers are the favorites in that series. So I know, Declan, we spoke about it last night. Chuck, can I get your input real quick here?
I think I'm going to take the Dodgers. I think they're arguably the best team in baseball. They won last night, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they won last night. Yeah, they're up 1-0. Yep. Their game is on tonight.
I was zoning out for a minute. I was zoning out. But, I think the Dodgers should win. This is a series for them. And I said it when we did the playoff preview before the first round that the Padres are a good up-and-coming team, but I don't think it's their time yet. And I think Dodgers are battle-tested. They got Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Buehler, the whole 9 yards. So I think the Dodgers are going to win tonight, and I'll probably win this series in 3 or 4.
Right now, just another score update. The A's take a 3-2 lead heading into the top of the 4th inning. So they're in the top. Well,
we love to see it. We love to see it.
Yeah, well, I know you guys would, but
Greg doesn't. At all.
Not at all.
Carl, honestly, if I knew for a fact that the Yankees were going to beat the Rays, I want to see a Yankees Astros ALCS.
I think America wants to see that. I think they do. I think
definitely
fans do. Aside from the baseball aspect of it, I know Greg's going to hate me for saying this, but just the drama building up to everything that the hit list, especially,
drama.
Have been talking about.
It makes these games better.
We do, but especially for the hit list congregation, special shout out to the hit list congregation. This debate has been going on for the last year about sign stealing, and I think this would be the ultimate way to end it. Would be this series.
But I don't understand why Greg defends the Astros so much, and I know Matt. Shout out to.
I do. I know why. I know why. Yeah. We all know
about it. I don't understand why Greg always defends the Astros.
Well, guys, thank you. Why?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chuck.
I think Greg defends the Astros because the Astros beat the Yankees, and Greg just hates the Yankees.
Come on,
he does.
Greg's in the comment section now. We all know it's true. I wish he was here so we could say he wore orange last night on the live. Everybody knows he's rooting for the Astros. He's telling Carlos Correa he needs him to relax because he needs him to win.
Wait, hold on. Wait, listen, Manny just said Greg is full of shit. That's what he just said. So there it is. Guys, thank you for joining me. We have a special segment coming up. It's called Winner's Circle. So stay tuned for the debut of Winner's Circle. I don't know what that's about. You guys stay tuned. That's coming on at the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to jump into some quick WWE. That's going to segue into that later on. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
All right, Carl, thank you.
You're watching the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. Let me bring in my pro wrestling contributors. I know people watching may not want to listen to some pro wrestling, but we're going to talk about pro wrestling. This is the lead to our main event, which is the Winner's Circle, the debut that's coming. Let me introduce my Hit List contributors. TK the Tank. He's not talking baseball. He's not talking football, but he is talking pro wrestling. TK, how you doing, sir?
Great, Carl. Great to be on here. Thanks for having me, man.
We have Mike Murillo. Mike, how you doing, man?
What's up?
And Zach, are you here?
I am. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, there we go.
There we go. How you doing,
Finally.
Sir?
I'm doing good.
Were you in the Thunderdome? Is that what it took you so long to come in?
Yeah. I was in the Thunderdome, just representing the Hit List brand by holding that title. Thanks for the permission via Nick.
You know what I'm gonna do for you though? I'm gonna send you like a Hit List mask or a Hit List T-shirt. So the next time you go into the Thunderdome,
see, you can send me the Hit List T-shirt that I had your friend made for me.
Absolutely. You didn't get it yet still? Are you still waiting on it?
I thought she gave it to you.
No. Well, I'll definitely contact her about that. I thought you got it. I thought it got mailed to you already.
They're going to kick him.
Let me know about that.
Sorry
about that.
They're
not.
They're not going to kick you out? Didn't they kick you out last time?
No, they kicked me out because I was in the show from kickoff until almost the end of the show.
Oh, they said because you weren't booing.
Mike, why does it look like you're in that 70s show? Like you look like you're in the basement of that 70s show.
Also,
You're real hazy,
Mike,
man.
I got kicked out during a pay-per-view because they had to make room for people. I haven't been kicked out of a Raw yet.
Crazy. But Zach will definitely get you that shirt. Maybe there was a mix-up. I'll definitely get you that shirt.
Also, I see right now, though.
But today we're here to talk about the draft.
Wearing the Honda shirt.
Oh, dope. Absolutely. WWE draft. It comes around one time a year, and roster gets shifted, roster gets moved. Last year's draft wasn't really a draft because everyone kind of stuck in place. It kind of got me annoyed. It didn't really look like it was a draft. Going into this year's draft, TK, any bold predictions, or do we kind of see the roster stay the same?
I mean, I think there's going to be some movement, definitely, based upon what's been going on. Like you said, last year's draft wasn't really that great. This year, I mean, the draft went so quick when they said draft. It was like we're having a draft already, but it has been a year. But I think we could see, like, if I had to name some big names, AJ Styles, I think he'll be going to Raw. You saw him just take a loss last Friday, and I think they're booking him like that because, you know, they did that. He lost the Intercontinental title. I think he's available to go to Raw. And also I think Braun Strowman will be going to Raw from SmackDown. He's going to start something with Keith Lee, it looks like. So I think they're kind of setting that up, and I think we could see someone like Charlotte Flair come back from injury and get drafted out of NXT to either Raw or SmackDown. She's been working hard. She's been back in the gym. She's been building back up again. I don't know where you would put her, Raw or SmackDown. I think SmackDown's women's division needs a little more, but we'll have to wait and see. So I think Charlotte Flair, AJ Styles, Braun Strowman definitely on the move. In terms of Raw, guys from Raw going somewhere else, I think that's much more of a coin flip. It could be anybody, but I think they'll keep the factions together. I think they'll keep the Hurt Business together. I think what you could see is maybe Andrade or maybe Angel Garza going over to SmackDown to break up that team and kind of finally end that for good because they've been worn out. But those are my kind of off the cuff predictions there, Carl.
Well, you know what, TK, you said something really interesting about the women's SmackDown's division. There's really no division. It's been a two-way street here between Bayley and Sasha Banks for the last 6 months, give or take. It's been the two of them.
Forget about that. It's really NXT's women's division.
Well, not even just that, but just looking at SmackDown's roster, they haven't really put anybody in position to actually win. Like that feud, whether they were together as a tag team or separately, they've been pretty much leading the way for the women's division there. And then now you move Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke to Raw. What does SmackDown really have? You know, so it is cause for concern. Zach, what are your thoughts here going into the draft? Any bold predictions?
Well, thankfully for me, I have two monitors, so I have the roster for both Raw and SmackDown up here. So I think coming out of SmackDown, we're definitely going to see AJ Styles go to Raw. Definitely going to see Braun Strowman. I think the sleeper out of everyone who is on SmackDown is probably going to be Drew Gulak going to Raw. He's been on Raw constantly for the 24/7 champion right now. It's going to be a given that he's going to get pushed over to Raw. For anybody going from Raw to SmackDown, I think definitely. So I see Ricochet going to SmackDown because he needs to be split apart. I think this whole entire team with Apollo and then previously Mustafa Ali, it was dragging him down. So I think him going to SmackDown is the best way to go. And I think it's going to be obvious that Kevin Owens is going to SmackDown as well to feud with to feud with the Fiend.
The Fiend. Okay. All right, Mike. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I think Ricochet could go to NXT.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what I
It's
find
okay.
to be,
It's okay. So, Mike, what are your thoughts heading into the draft? Any bold predictions here?
I don't know if you guys find this to be annoying, but I find it to be really annoying, is who's going to announce the drafts? I mean,
Well, last year, what did they do? They just had them say with the first, like they just put them on the screen, and I believe the announcers.
It was
announced.
Stephanie, but then they said, "Oh yeah, it's really based on the executives of Fox and USA, what they want for their program."
Yeah.
But those War Room segments were really good.
Yeah, I don't think I have any issue with who announces it. I think that's nitpicking, but that's Mike. Mike's gonna nitpick, right? Next.
Yeah, I have an issue with it. No, you
Okay.
guys pretty much everything, whatever
Say it
you
again?
guys said, whatever everybody said, pretty much. You guys took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I believe AJ. AJ's running out of steam and Smack. I mean, he lost to Jey Uso, which is freaking ridiculous. He's going back to Raw. Braun is going to start a feud with Keith, so he's going to Raw. KO's obviously going to SmackDown because they're not doing anything with him. And I'm going to make a bold prediction right now that Lacey's going over to Raw because they're not doing anything with her. To be quite honest, they're really not doing anything with the superstars that I just mentioned. I mean, to be quite honest, they're all kind of lost in creative. But I'm interested to see how they're going to do this because it's really strange. It's going to be a really strange draft.
I mean, the executives last year were kind of hilarious how they never changed their clothes and they just reacted to everything like that. This
Network.
is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. The network guys, yeah. But I mean, in terms of AJ Styles losing to Jey Uso, I don't think that's ridiculous. I mean, if AJ Styles is on his way out, you put over the guy that's about to have a title shot. You have to make people believe Jey Uso has a chance after you just got mollywopped by Roman Reigns in the last pay-per-view.
I think it's ridiculous.
AJ Styles giving the win to Jey Uso, I think is great booking.
I think it's ridiculous because his stock is going down. He lost the IC title.
Listen, I can't see. I disagree because I think AJ's at that point in his career. Like, is he really considered a top guy anymore? He's kind of transitioning other guys. I mean, AJ's been WWE champ, Intercontinental champ, US champ. I mean, what else does he have to accomplish? Yes, say again. Tag team. Okay, fine. He needs the tag team championship, which is a low-level mid-card championship. But I don't think him losing to Jey Uso brings down the stock. As TK said, you're trying to build Jey Uso. And for him to build him, you have to have him have a big key win heading into the Hell in a Cell. I think.
But Jey Uso is going to lose so badly. It's not even funny. He's going to lose very.
You don't know that.
I mean,
he already lost so badly. He already got his clock cleaned. This could be his redemption. It's Hell in a Cell. Anything can happen.
Listen, I watch. Listen, we all watch Clash of Champions. You cannot tell me the moment when Jey Uso hit that splash, that like you had like some instance of like hope that maybe they just swerved us and he's going over.
Can we all agree on one thing? And even if you're not a wrestling fan, for those watching this, go back to the match, okay? It is straight out of Rocky IV.
Oh, we're going back to that meme?
Let's go back to, please, everybody not a wrestling fan, guys, if you're watching this, go back to that meme, watch the ending of that match. It's like Vince saw Rocky for us, and he's like, damn it, that's a great idea. And then right away, he put that in.
But you know what? Again, a swerve would be nice. And the key to that swerve is clearly Otis holding on to the Money in the Bank. Because that's a swerve that can come. We don't know what they're going to do with that, and that could possibly be Jay winning and then Otis cashing it in. Who knows?
That's another thing, Carl, with the draft. That's another thing with the draft. What if Otis gets drafted to Raw, or what if they pull a wild card and draft Otis to NXT so he can cash in on the NXT champ? So therefore, you're not having cash in on on a Roman Reigns or a Drew McIntyre. So I think where Otis ends up is also could really, really be shaken up. He can go with Mandy over on Raw. They could really do anything with Otis. That's why this draft is important. That's why this draft is going to be interesting to see what happens.
Bold prediction.
Right. Or you know what? Here's something I can think of. You draft Otis to Raw. Orton beats Drew, and then Otis pins Orton to get him.
No. That would be really good. I would like.
Listen. WWE, I'm giving you ideas. Listen to me. Listen to the chosen one. I'm throwing you a bone. I'm giving you money ideas right now. I'm throwing you ideas. Take one of them, please, because that would be great booking. Let's just do it. That's it. What's wrong with that idea, Mike? What's wrong with that?
That's because it's Randy Orton, for God's sakes. He just beat up 4 legends, and now he's going to lose to Otis? Come on.
Listen, we need
and Otis won the Money in the Bank. No one expected that.
And the most ridiculous faction ever. He didn't even climb the ladder.
It doesn't matter.
And again, another Rocky reference. When he's
Right. But listen, but you know what, Mike? But here's the thing: it stepped away from what we were. For me, it's about the unpredictability, the like not seeing anything coming out. Whether we like it, whether we hate it, I like that factor in WWE going in that Otis won because no one predicted that Otis would win it.
And another thing, if you want to go back, Mike, remember like the Miz cashed in on Randy Orton. When the Miz had the lowest stock possible.
But no. But compare the Miz to
He didn't have the lowest stock possible.
You can't.
Well, at that time he did.
No. You can't compare. You really the Miz didn't have the lowest stock possible.
At that time he did. He was
tag team champion, U.S. champion before. I mean,
yeah, but he was a joke. He was getting made fun of on a daily basis.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
Made fun of on a daily basis.
We made a bold prediction right now.
Go ahead, make your bold prediction. Go for it.
Because he has lost. He lost this weekend, and I don't see him going back to this. Velveteen Dream going to SmackDown.
No, Velveteen Dream should be fired, and that's that. That's my opinion.
I agree with Zach on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, he should be fired.
Lastly, before I let you guys go, the Outlaw, any AEW predictions? I'm kind of behind on it. I have a couple. I had to throw it to him. I had to give him an AEW. That's my guy.
Tonight is the bloodiest match AEW will have, a dog collar match.
Let's all make predictions.
With Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee. This is going to be an amazing match. Sadly, Cody Rhodes is going to win because you know how AEW is going to be booking Cody Rhodes. He comes back. He's going to get the title.
Say that. No,
am I happy with that? Not really. But it's Cody Rhodes, and he might defend the title on a weekly basis and give more independent guys exposure.
Is this Jericho's 30th anniversary?
Yes,
too?
it is.
Yes,
Jericho 30 celebration.
Yes, it is.
He's gonna.
I mean, you got a legend like Chris Jericho. You got to watch, see what he's gonna do. You know.
He's gonna go up against.
I lost you guys. Can you guys say that again? I kind of lost you guys there.
Oh, I said it's Chris Jericho's 30th anniversary in wrestling. They're having a whole big party for Chris Jericho. I'm excited to see what can come out of that for AEW tonight, as I know Mike will be avidly watching because Mike's.
So they're having a party for Y2J.
Yeah, it is.
Vince invited. Is Vince invited? I don't know if Vince's invitation got lost in the mail. He should have been invited. No.
No, you know what? They can invite Vince, but if Vince going to show up in AEW, no chance in hell.
But it's kind of sad.
That would be great. You see, that would be great booking for me, honestly. If you have Vince show up and.
But it's kind of sad.
It could happen, Carl. It could happen. I mean, if we remember 2001 when Vince showed up on WCW when he bought that promotion, I can see Vince buying AEW and just driving their wrestlers into the ground and just reigning supreme again, like Vince McMahon does.
It's kind of sad, to be honest, who he's going to face. I get that it's his best friend and all.
Right.
It's not going to be a good match against Luther. Like,
have you not seen any matches with Luther?
No, but I mean, come on, you know.
There you go. You answered your own question. You haven't seen matches.
I would go more like.
Oh, here we go.
I would go like.
Do your research, man.
No. For one night only, I would be like, guys, let's get Lance Storm to come in.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Listen, I kind of see Zach's facial expression. Let me end this before it goes any further.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'll see you soon after the draft.
You know it's going to go further.
You guys take care. Please stay tuned for our debut of our new segment called Winner's Circle. It's up next live on the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Let me bring in Ray Jarv and Paul, the MVP, for the debut of the new segment. You're watching the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. This is our final segment of the day. Let me bring in my guys in here. And we have Ray Jarvis and the A-lister himself for the debut of Winner's Circle. So, Paul, please explain to the congregation what is the Winner's Circle, your segment. Let the fans know.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you, Carl, for being able to carve this time in. And obviously, shout out to the Floss Guard from the great area, boy Ray Jarvis. I was just brainstorming. We had some guys in the group, begging to get on segments. They thought they were A-list. They thought they were the elite of the elite. And I was sitting back saying to myself, man, what if we had something where we could talk high level, two guys I think that can get out here, speak to anything that's going on, any sport, any scenario, give the people what they want, but also have some purpose. So when I came up with the name Winner's Circle, I said, hey, you got last year's MVP, you got this year's MVP. What better way to do it? You know what I'm saying? That was where the concept came from.
Well, people are in the Hitless congregation think this is a versus battle. This is what's going on right now. They like, Carl, what's going? Is this a versus battle? What these people got to talk about? So, since we're here to talk about anything and everything in sports, I clearly we have to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and how they're one win away. Unfortunately, and I have to throw that on unfortunately because it's paining me. It hurts to see that the Lakers are about to tie the Celtics in championship history.
Love to see it.
I hate to see it. I'm not gonna lie, but this is your segment, your show. I'm gonna let you guys shine. So, Ray, let me throw you the rock. What are your thoughts after Game 4 last night? We saw AD put the clincher with the 3-pointer. Overall, what are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are the job's not finished. To quote Kobe, we up 3-1, but the series is not over. The Miami Heat are not going to roll over. I expect probably their best game on Friday. Again, it's not like we're steamrolling these guys. You could say give or take 3 or 4 possessions in the fourth quarter, and he could have won Game 4. We're not doing the ifs. What I'm just trying to explain to you is that this is not a cakewalk for the Lakers. Miami is showing that they are truly top-level competition, and I expect Friday to be a dogfight. That's going to be the best game of the finals. I think Miami is going to make a couple of more tweaks once again. I think Bam will be even better than he was last night. And I think Jimmy Butler needs to accept the challenge. If AD is going to be on him, he has to attack. He has to go at AD. I don't think he's going to be as passive as he was when AD was in front of him last night on Friday. So I think the job's not finished. Miami's going to throw their best shot, and we need to be prepared to close that series out.
So you need to go call your brother, who's the president of the Laker Nation Brooklyn division, who's clearly preparing for some form of celebration on Friday that it's not over. I don't know what's going on with Anthony, but I've been talking to him. He kind of had something brewing ready for Friday.
Nah, that's on brand. Like, I don't expect Anthony to do anything different than that. He's been the most confident, arrogant, belligerent Laker fan I know. And if he decides to pivot now, something is wrong in the universe. So I'll be the balance of the Laker Nation and be prepared for just in case on Friday.
A-Lister, do you agree here with your fellow brother over here on the winner's circle about what his take was on the Lakers? Should they be a little bit?
I mean, yeah, but I'm gonna throw a different curve at you. You know what I'm saying? For the rhetoric of baseball, what's going on watching the game, little curveball. What the Miami Heat has showed me, and you guys have seen me in the chat being vocal about the type of basketball I've been watching. America doesn't want to admit it. Brandon Falco and Marcus Lamar, they don't want to admit it. The window is about what you have in December. You know, if it's you cooking in the house and it's hot, you crack it a little bit. The window is closed for LeBron. I mean, he can thank his lucky stars that they was able to get AD and some veteran guys around them. But I can't sit here and imagine, if we think futuristically speaking, that you would even see this LeBron, which I would argue has been a marginal one at best, right?
Absolutely.
At marginal at best, but he's such a God-given talent with his size and his power and all this other stuff and his ability to pass basketball. And then the fear, right? There is a fear factor that's still out there, right? You've seen Tyler Hero flopping, afraid to go at him. You know, like one thing I appreciated about Jamal Murray was LeBron was fooled when the switch happened. But what you've seen from a Harden when they were somewhat intimidated. So what Paul Pierce was saying has some value. I don't see this Laker team down and next year. They'd obviously have to completely retool. But with LeBron at the helm doing what he's doing, y'all thought I was playing when I said if they win, I could see LeBron packing it up and just riding off as a winner. I could see it.
Wait. Tom, wait, what? Huh? Wait, what?
Listen to what I'm telling you.
Are you saying this right now in the winner's circle?
I'm telling you on the winner's circle right now.
I like it.
I could see LeBron getting more involved in all the politics and all the things he's doing off the court, which is tremendous. I could see him doing that and being the dad full time and developing his young boys. I could see that. Because LeBron, the basketball player, all right, you win this year. What you trying to prove after that?
You just threw me an alley hoop. You just threw me an alley hoop.
Prove after that.
You want me to answer that for you? Seriously?
Absolutely. I want to hear it.
When he made his statements, and we've talked about this on the hit list about chasing the GOAT. That would put him at 4. It wouldn't put him at 5 or 6. He'd be behind Kobe. He'd be behind MJ. That's fair to say. That's what he's chasing. He's chasing a legacy.
The question you got to ask yourself, and then I'll let Ray jump in here, is: do you want to guard a winner, or do you want to be the guy that won and kept trying and couldn't get it done again? Do you want to be that LeBron James? Because we already got the rhetoric of LeBron with super teams, right? He can't win one out of superstar. He couldn't do this. He needed that. He needed Wade. He needed Kyrie. He needs AD. So he's only going to continue to regress. Do you want to be the guy that, I don't know, let's say in 2 years, you want to join? Who are you going to join next to try to win? Who's going to let you pound the basketball for 40 minutes? And 8 turnovers a game in the NBA Finals? Who's going to allow you to do that? Because the great coaches aren't going to allow that to happen.
I mean, to hop on that, I've been saying it on my platform, in the group here. There is an erosion in LeBron's abilities because his cliff is so high. We can't even call it a cliff. He's fallen from Mount Everest. Whatever the highest peak is on earth, that's where LeBron is falling from. So when the regression happens, it's hard to really pinpoint it. But when the bubble first restarted, LeBron looked resurgent. But as this bubble has gone along, he doesn't have that spring in his step. He has moments. He can turn it on. He can hit the gas for moments, but he cannot dominate physically anymore. Like I watch these games and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what is LeBron going to look like next season? Like, what kind of athlete are we going to see? Because if he looks like this right now, and this is probably, the numbers won't support it because LeBron has mastered the art of the calculator in the NBA, but this is his worst finals eyeball-wise I've ever seen. LeBron James has not dominated these finals. Only one player in this finals has had moments where he's dominated, or you can say he's a dominating force. That's Anthony Davis. Games 1 and Game 2, he was a dominator. Game 3, he was the dominant force on the defensive side. He completely obliterated Miami's half-court offense with his switches, his rim protection, what he did against Jimmy Butler. He was everywhere that he needed to be, and he's dominated. LeBron has had moments where he might jump a lane. He might have a dunk here already on Tyler Hero, a nice-looking fadeaway. But then there's times when he's dribbling, he's making bad passes, he's making bad reads, he's blaming his teammates, and it's because his body, this is a big man. People always talk about his physical gifts, but 6'9", 250, this is a big man. So at some point, when that engine goes, it's not going to look good. And his game, he needs that engine. He needs to be that V12. You can't give us V8 LeBron or V6 LeBron. If you're not giving us at least V10, and I think we're seeing V10, V8 right now, it's going to be shaky. I'm concerned about LeBron going into the future.
Honestly, we are seeing the V8. We're seeing a guy pulling from 35 feet in a 2-point game with the Heat on the brink, right? We're talking about a guy, the Miami Heat LeBron was a V14, right?
Yeah.
Where it didn't matter who was in front of him. He was trying to get to a spot. He was trying to get to the cup, and he was getting to the line. We seen a LeBron cool with shooting from 28 feet out there with these ridiculous behind the right fadeaway jump shots. These are lucky shots, bro. I mean, people can say, "Oh, that's LeBron shot." It's not a shot.
He can only dominate the mismatches. He's working his half-court offense, looking for Tyler Hero. In each series, he's looking for the mismatch because he can't take anyone off the dribble anymore. He has to get a slow-footed big or a weak defender to get to the cup. He can't just physically dominate. There's going to be LeBron fans who get upset and say this is hate, but this is like, we're looking at the games. Like, I need you to put your emotions down, watch the games, and know your favorite player. I saw it with Kobe. At some point, I had to understand that this is what it was, and you got to just embrace it.
I seen it with AI. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the Allen Iverson in Denver, the AI in Detroit. I seen it firsthand. You could never stay in front of AI. And then all of a sudden, everybody could stay in front of AI.
Yeah.
It's like we started to say, oh my God, the game got faster. Nah, the reality is he ain't the same guy.
No.
And the guy we see wearing number 23, I know this is probably one of the hottest takes we're going to hear. I would not be shocked is if they win on Friday, whether he wins MVP, especially if he wins MVP, I could completely see LeBron just saying, I'm going to walk away from the game of basketball. There's a lot of other things calling me. Because it's
that's different a hot take.
Jordan did it, bro.
That's a big take, man, because I had what's crazy? I had the theory that he was going to wait until his son comes into the league, plays the year with his son, and then retires. Because Bronny's not too far. A couple more years.
Bronny's not even gonna make it to the league, bro. We're not even gonna make it to the league. No. Bronny's not even that good. He's living off his last name.
I mean, right now, I don't see it, right? I mean, but I come from the basketball mecca, right? When you think about high school hoops, He's in a place that's ridiculously crowded with 10 guys better than him right now. Granted, he was a freshman playing varsity basketball. I think that hurts him. Let him play freshman, let him play JV, let him cook guys his age because he's not physical enough to even compete against those guys. And that's what we seen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I seen when they putting it on ESPN. He wasn't strong enough to be out there. He made some shots, but he had a bunch of offers, bro, on ESPN because the platform is not for him yet. You know, and it can change.
I see Patrick Ewing Jr. Yeah, if y'all know, y'all know.
yeah. We remember that one. Oh man, ouch, that hurt. I felt that one right here. Do you guys have anything else you want to discuss on the winner's circle before we wrap up that you want to bring to the front of the congregation? Because again, this is your segment. Whatever you guys want to talk about, this is all for you.
I want to get Ray's. So we started touching a little bit about the future. I'm curious as of today. Win or lose, right? So obviously, let's say win, right? With a 3-1 lead. We don't want to be on the other end of history. What do you see the Lakers being able to do to retool to even be able to compete? Knowing what you know now, whether it's the same pieces or not in the West, because we're talking about a reloaded Warriors squad. They're back, right? With the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And some dough to spin, right? And they're back with a vengeance because, like, you know, the basketball world forgot about the Warriors. You know, I ain't heard Steph Curry. I heard Aisha Curry more than Steph Curry.
Yeah.
6 months.
Steph in the lab.
You know?
Right. Oh, let's not mention, let me throw this out there too. We have the Nets. I know Manny's going to go crazy because I mentioned the Nets.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, don't worry.
Yeah, so that's an interesting take.
With the Lakers, to answer the initial question, I think that Kyle Kuzma is a former Laker. I think after this ring, he's going to be part of a trade package to get some more shooting because as LeBron continues to erode and we want to lean on AD more, LeBron's going to need shooting more than ever to contend in the Western Conference. You can't get away with streak shooters and slashers as LeBron James physically cannot do what he normally does. So I think that Kyle Kuzma will be part of some type of a package that brings in more shooters. I think Danny Green might be a former Laker as well. I actually think that Rondo, with this playoff run, has earned himself another year as a Laker. I'm on the fence about KCP, although he's having a strong finals run. But I think what the Lakers will do, long story short, is AD resigns, LeBron to come back for a 3rd year. We add some more shooters. I've seen names like Gallinari in the mix as a guy who can join the Lakers. It's another name that's escaping me right now. But the gist of it is that they look at, it was Jeremy Grant, guys who are about 6'8", 6'9", 3-and-D type. Not so much Gallinari, but definitely Grant. But guys who can space the floor and help LeBron going forward. I'm not going to say he's going to retire after. Huh?
What about a Fred VanVleet? He's going to be a free agent?
He's going to be a little too rich for the Lakers. We don't have the type of cap space to bring in, especially if the cap goes down as people are saying it will due to the revenue loss in the league. I don't think VanVleet is going to be a $20 million point guard coming to the Lakers. I don't even want Fred VanVleet. He's a good player, but I'm not a fan of little guards, and especially out west. With the exception of a handful of guys, little guards don't survive out west on an elite level. So I'd rather a swing type of player who can space the floor, can shoot, and help the Lakers out. I actually think LeBron's going after next season. I think he has an opt-out after year 3. I think he either retires or opts out and goes back to Cleveland to pack it up. I think he has 1 more year as a Laker. That's it. And then Kawhi Leonard comes down the hall. But in the Western Conference, I think people need to be afraid of the Golden State Warriors. They had a year off. Steve Kerr's still there. The greatest space on earth and the greatest gravitational pull on earth is still there. Steph Curry. Klay Thompson's healthy. Draymond's there. Wiggins is going to have a career season. The bench is going to be more fortified. Be afraid of Golden State. Be afraid of Brooklyn, especially if they get PG. PG is a 3rd option in Brooklyn. That's cheating, in my opinion.
That's brutal.
If they get Bradley Beal as a 3rd option, that's cheating, in my opinion. If they keep the team the same way with the young Bulls next to Kyrie and KD, that's still cheating, in my opinion. The Brooklyn Nets are the favorites to come out of the East next season. You heard it here first.
I agree. I agree. I think when you look at what the Brooklyn Nets, my only concern with the Brooklyn Nets as constructed is there ain't enough shots to go around.
I'm not worried about that. The Bulls
right now, I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about Dinwiddie coming in and having the green light because he ain't going to have that light. You know what I'm saying? Next season. That's KD running the 2nd unit. That's Kyrie with the 2nd unit. So that's my only concern. The combo guard system, I'm curious to see what Steve Nash does. I'm curious. But I can see Dinwiddie and Allen being in the package to go get somebody you know, on a veteran side that can make some things happen. I can see that happening. But
I feel like with the Kerr hire and what the Steve Nash hire, I think they're trying to embody what they were doing in Golden State. With the there's enough possessions and not enough dribbling so that there's more shots going up. That was the key to Golden State that people never talk about. They don't spend too much time dribbling the basketball. The ball moves, they find the open shot, they find the elite scorers to get the ball up. I think Brooklyn's going to try to emulate that. Huh?
To your point, can Kyrie run that offense?
Kyrie wants to win. Kyrie suffered next to LeBron, but he got a championship out of it because he played his position. Kyrie, as much as Kyrie gets a bad rap, Kyrie Irving plays his position. He didn't even chuck guys in Boston. Carl watched it. Kyrie never really took shots away from guys.
He should have chucked.
Kyrie's emotions got in the way. You know what I mean? Kyrie's going to do what's necessary to win a championship.
Okay. So guys, let me ask you this before we wrap up on this segment: is when does the next NBA season start? I've been listening to Adam Silver speak. I've been listening to what he's been saying, and he's aiming for January to get in 82 games. Then you also have the Olympics as a problem. You want to try to pack in to get the regular season, the playoffs, possibly guys going to playoff for their home teams in their home countries, and not mixing in that and trying to get back on pace, and not even knowing there's no vaccine for COVID restrictions, trying to get fans back into the game. What do we see here moving forward? Because clearly the NBA season's ending either Friday or in the next week. What do we see going into the 2021 season? Ray?
I don't think it's realistic to get 82 games in. Unless you're going to do what you did in the lockout season when you had 3 games back-to-back to have a truncated season. I think the NBA will probably settle on 66 games because I believe in Adam Silver, and he's been using a sliding scale with the NBA calendar as it is. I think he'll realize that 82 games, as much as you want to get as much bread as you can, that 82 games is not realistic. I think we'll end up with the 66-game season somewhere around Christmas. I think at the end of the day, we're going to have the post-lockout model. The season starts on Christmas. You get in 66 games, but instead of having back-to-back-to-backs, you might see the NBA season end in late June, early July-ish, and that'll be the latest. Then we get into the draft. That's my prediction on that.
Yeah.
Paul, what are your thoughts?
My biggest concern right now is the whole Olympic equation.
Mm-hmm.
And how much money globally is tied to the Olympics, man. In the perfect world, which we live in, right, in our way, they would push the Olympics one more year. In a perfect world. But we understand that will never happen with the kind of revenue that these countries are dependent on, especially the host, right?
Yep.
Which will probably, I think they said, generate somewhere close to $7 billion in profits from just hosting the Olympics. So when you think about that, you say to yourself, what's more important? Could you afford a country's top athlete, right? Let's use Cristiano Ronaldo or someone dying from COVID. Could you afford that, right? Because that's exactly where we are. And it's going to be interesting to see how different countries have their influence, right? Because we're not just talking about the amazing leadership of Adam Silver. He's a little man at that table when you start thinking about that's Donald Trump now sitting at that table who's cool with the Miami Dolphins selling out this weekend, right? You know, so when you think about who we have representing us as of today, I mean, who knows? It could be Joe Biden. We don't know yet, right? But he's going to now sit in front of the face of Sweden, who had very little to no cases, right? Or Russia, who we didn't really hear anything about COVID, right? Or some of these other countries that think that they had the gold plan of eliminating this virus and never allowing it to infiltrate their country. You're now asking them to put their own people at risk, which is why I don't see how you could do a track and field. I don't see how you could do how somebody like Michael Phelps could have competed with a COVID-related Olympics, not to switch.
I mean, money talks. I've been saying this since COVID hit. Money is the greatest decider on earth. If the money is funny and these nations need that bread, they will risk whatever athlete, and certain athletes who need whatever bonuses come with being an Olympian, they will risk it and do what's necessary, because pushing it back a year already set people back millions. Right. So I just don't see that money being pushed back another year. I just don't see it. Look at the sports leagues in America.
And to your point, I think the NBA is in probably the most uncomfortable seat because of how dominant foreign athletes are in our sport, right? You look at a guy like Jokic, right? He had trouble even coming back to play.
Getting the visas, that's been an issue across the board.
When you start thinking about, there's not a team out there that doesn't have some sort of, foreigner, right? I mean, it might be a few, but there's probably 25 teams that got people from different countries playing, right? And that's my concern. Honestly, what does the Gasol brothers do, right? I mean, they've been staples in the NBA for over a decade. Do they really go back to Spain to play for Spain? It's like, those are the kind of things that I'm not sure world's ready to answer.
Maybe they'll do a Olympic bubble. Maybe that's what the future holds.
Well, according to the coach, or AKA Wom says January. It's decided already. That's what he's
okay. Well,
and we all believe in Wom. Yeah, we all believe in Wom. So
Wom is the plug, baby. I mean, if he said January,
yo, Wom, is it gonna be 82 games? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's what we want to know. That's what we're curious about.
But I do think 66 or even probably less is an option. Because only I'm saying that because let's say this thing drags out to 7, you're talking mid to late October NBA Finals. To start again in January 1 or even December is a long shot. I can't see them playing a full season.
Yeah. All right. Guys, thank you for joining me on your first ever edition of the Winner's Circle. You guys let me know when you want to come back on to have any kind of discussion, have a rant.
See you Friday, baby.
But listen, something's going down on Friday. I don't want to give it away because the Lakers haven't officially won yet. But from what I'm hearing, rumors in the hit list circle and congregation, there's a Laker-bration on deck for
all I want to say
fans.
Is, bro, Laker-bration and all of that. But there was a lot of arrogance Sunday night, and we lost. So Laker fans, take your time.
There's a lot of finger pointing, shade throwing, narrative searching.
I know, but I'm just letting you know these are the vibes that I'm getting about this Laker-bration, and they're saying there will be security at the door screening Laker passes to see if you're really a Laker fan or you're a LeBron fan because they're not going to let in Laker.
Hey, I'm going to say right now, if you're a LeBron fan, you're not invited, bro. Keep that ride of energy somewhere else. No guac 2020. You're not invited.
That's what I'm hearing. So, guys, thank you for joining me here on the Sports Hill. It's always a pleasure. By the fans, for the fans, please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. We have the NBA Mount Rushmore is coming. We just finished up the baseball one. We got the NBA one, 7 episodes strong. I know there's going to be a lot of pick'ems. You guys are on a couple of those episodes. Ray, your podcast coming soon, man. I can't wait for it. Right?
Look for that on Monday. NBA Legacy Wars. The gray area is back.
All right, guys. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
sir.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.